Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide. It's your boy Big Will, and I'm back with some boxing talk. Hey, listen, people. Big shot Bob Arum. He recently did an interview where he stated once again that he is willing to make the fight with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. But this time we're a step closer, people, because he says he's willing to make it next. Now, what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and read the whole article for you, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on it. The article says, WBO welterweight titleist Terence Crawford makes the first defense of his belt against undefeated Jose Benavidez this Saturday night in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, if Crawford should come out victorious as expected, how does Bob Arum forecast his 2019? Bob Arum said, I keep him a lot busier than fighting twice a year. I try to keep him to fight at least 3 times a year, and I think he's building up a reputation as a great welterweight, and I think Crawford can handle anybody in the welterweight division, and he's not going to have no problems making the weight of 147. Arum believes that Crawford, who has won titles at 130 and 135 and became undisputed at 147, will settle in as a nice, good welterweight. That's probably the last division that he'll be able to make, so he's willing to take on all comers. Now, as for a possible showdown with IBF welterweight champion Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr., Arum states that he has no idea if the opposite side has as much interest in the fight as he does. He says, I don't know if Errol Spence, he said, I don't know Errol Spence. I don't know him. Everybody says he's a nice kid. He's a nice person. Certainly a good fighter, but it's really what Al Heyman wants, you know? Al doesn't like to take fights where the other guy has a chance. So I'm willing, and Terence is willing to do that fight, and we're willing to do it next. Let me read that again for you. He said, so I'm willing, and Terence is willing to do that fight next. Benavidez is a tough fight, but look at the whole picture. There is some urgency because Spence is naturally bigger. He will soon rather than later go out of the welterweight division. But you wonder if Spence will keep on his side of the street with fights on Showtime and Fox in the upcoming year. And Arum said to that, I can't tell you what nobody else is doing. All I can tell you is what I'm doing, and I want to make the best fights for my fighters, and I'm willing to sit down and discuss it. There are other fighters and so forth. We can do trades. He said we could do trades. You know, your fighter can fight on my platform. My fighter can fight on your platform. But if you don't want to sit down and talk, just fuck off. Now, these are the words of Big Shot Bob Arum. Now, what I think about this is that, you know, I know a lot of people, think that, well, it's a fact that Bob Arum has said many things in the past, man. He had, blow smoke up people's ass about different things and said a lot of things that he didn't necessarily mean. But the dynamic has changed, people. You understand this? The dynamic is changed. We all know that Bob Arum's Top Rank promotion company has signed this 7-year deal with mega ESPN. You understand what I'm saying? And ESPN demands that Bob Arum and Top Rank put on the best shows. They demand that they have the best content on their platform. You know, that was one of the stipulations that, ESPN had in the contract with Bob Arum, man, and Top Rank. And I think that Bob Arum is now willing to do these fights. He's 86, 87 years old. He's getting up in age. He don't have time to play games, man. He wants to see these great fights just like you and I wants to see these great fights. Now, if you go back in history, man, Bob Arum is responsible for making a lot of great fights in history, man. Win or lose, man, Bob Arum is known to get it done. I know, I say the past decade or something, Bob hasn't been, so truthful in things that he said as far as matching guys up and this and that. But I think now is the time with the ESPN dynamic that he's willing to do so, man. And, Errol Spence Jr. just recently, as a couple days ago, man, he's putting out tweets saying that he needs a fight. Well, here you go. Errol Spence Jr. needs to get with Al Heyman and his people, and they need to find their way to a table where they can sit down with, Todd the Buff and the top ranked guys and see if they can work this fight out next. Now, this is all on the pretense that Terence Crawford wins his fight Saturday night against Jose Benavidez, with which a lot of us think he will. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, man. There's a lot of people talking, a lot of channels that I frequent, a lot of channels that I like, man. I don't necessarily agree with everything that they saying, you know what I mean? But I don't have no problem with them. Just because we don't agree on certain things, man, that don't mean I have a problem with them. I don't have nothing to do that. You got your opinion, and I got my opinion, But a lot of these guys' opinion is that Terence Crawford needs to call out Errol Spence Jr. publicly after his fight with Jose Benavidez, man. And, I don't necessarily, agree that he has to do that. They says, or he'll, or he's a ducker, or he's bullshitting, or, I don't think that by him calling him out publicly, states that he's bullshitting if he doesn't. You know what I mean? It's been made clear. Bo Mack said it. Terence Crawford's trainer said it. Bob Arum said it. Terence Crawford himself has said he wants to fight the best, and he wants to make these fights, man. He wants these unification fights, whether it's Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, or Keith Thurman. He wants them. You know what I mean? It's never been in Terence Crawford's character to go out and just, call these fighters out by name, to be dropping names, man. And like I said, I'm a fan of both Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I cannot pick a winner of this fight. I go back and forth every week of who I think will win. You know what I'm saying? Because they are just that great, man. But it's a shame. It's a shame what Errol Spence is having to go through over there at PBC, man. We're not seeing him fight. Those guys do not, for some reason, do not want to step in the ring with him. And it's a shame, man. He's in the prime of his career, and we think he's the goods, but he's not being able to prove that he is the best in boxing because these dudes don't want to fight him. It's sort of like the Triple G. Triple G had to wait till he was 34, 35 years old before we actually seen Triple G go up against an elite fighter. You understand what I'm saying? Why do we got to wait 30 to a guy's 34, 35 on the downside of his career before we can see if he's what we think he is? You know what I mean? And Triple G caught a lot of flack for the Kell Brook fight. He caught a lot of flack for the Danny Jacobs fight. And you got to look at it, man. Had these fights happen when he was, 30, 31, 32 years old, it might have been a different story. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just saying, I'm just stating the obvious, man. The things you can do at age 30, you're not going to be able to do at 35 and 36 years old, man. So Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford, they're in their prime right now. Errol Spence is 28 years old. Terence Crawford is 30. I just hope they don't get to the age of 34, 35, 36 before they make this fight. Errol Spence has stated that he needs a fight. You understand what I'm saying? If Terence Crawford goes out there and whoop on Jose Benavidez like we all think he will, then I think this fight can be made for the first quarter of 2019, man. And we can see two of the best welterweights that have been around in decades. You understand what I'm saying? Definitely the last decade. They're two of the best welterweights, man. And I would love to see them inside the ring right now, man. It'll be a shame, a crying shame if we have to wait 4 and 5 and 6 years to see this fight, man. Make this fight happen now. Top Rank has said it. Terence Crawford's team, and he has said it. Errol Spence has stated that he wants to make the fight. All they need to do is get with his crew, Al Heyman and them, and they need to get together with Top Rank, and they need to make it happen. You understand what I'm saying? Make it happen. Do it for the fans, man. The fans want to see it, and they deserve it. We deserve it. You understand what I'm saying? This is Big Will for Big Faces Worldwide. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the don't like button, but do something. You understand what I'm saying? I'll holler back.